Right, so we are here with a sort of a preview, really. No, not a preview. A a review, a talk about. Last night, me and a friend watched on Mixer on the Xbox One the Xbox live presentation at E3. And after getting some thoughts, after getting home from work, very shortly, not too long ago, I decided I would make a video. I was deciding it at work, and I thought I'm gonna make one. Sorry about the green screen. I've not got my light stand, so I'm trying to use whatever light sources I can at this current moment. So the green screen might look really bad. And there might be a few, from when I did it last, there might be a few sprinkly bits on the microphone and myself. That's just, I'm sorry about that. That's just going to happen. And we'll try and get as many videos on there as we can. And it might not look great, but it's just a way to show you guys some of the content. So to be fair, the presentation itself was by far, in standards for me, one of the best Xbox presentations in a very long time. 42 games, 22 exclusives. Mind you, some of those are turned out to be timed exclusives, but we will get into that. We're not going to go back over everything. We're going to try and cover as much as we can, but I want to cover really the main parts that I really liked. But we will get into the basics of the new Xbox One. This is the Xbox One X, previously titled name as Scorpio. It is going to be around, what did they announce? $499, and I believe that's dollars. Or is it £499? I think it's $499. Which I don't think is too bad for a console for the beast of the components it's got in it. I'd play it as I have a very good PC. I know it's still not going to catch up to PC, but it is going to be definitely the most powerful console to date. And also the smallest. They did announce this. So we're just going to go into a few of the features at the moment. I've got my notepad wrote down here. Just so I can keep on top, just in case I forget anything. It should all be on here. So obviously, it's going to have an 8-core AMD processor, clocked at 2.3 GHz, which is good. 12 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM, which is good. And a 6 teraflop, and they make sure you know this, they mention it a lot, 6 teraflop GPU with 40 compute units. Obviously, the console itself is going to be a 4K console. They have a whole bundle of methods. There's the Hovis method. They'll mention that if you watch it. There's liquid cooled inside to compute with obviously everything that it's got, with how powerful it is going to be for a console. It is going to be 4K HDR. It is going to have a Ultra HDR Blu-ray player, so any of your movies, such as, I think we have one down here, when we don't knock everything. Do we have one? We do have one, sorry if I went quiet then. We have the Magnificent 7, and that is a 4K Ultra HD, and that is because behind that green screen, I do have a 4K TV. So the Xbox One itself, the new one, will be a pleasant surprise for someone such as myself who would like to extend the power of the TV that I bought and make the money that I paid for it more worthwhile. So at this conference, Phil Spencer came on, great guy, and he announced, 42 games. I was like, that's okay. And then he said 22 exclusives, and I was like, oh boy, I did not realise they were going to have this many. I know a lot of people were moaning beforehand that they weren't going to have many. And don't get me wrong, some of them are indie titles, but some of the indie titles still look very good. So without further ado, we're going to get into some of the games now. We're going to start really with... Actually, no, before we get into this, this is partly games. Backwards compatible, they did announce that Xbox One games will work on the Xbox One X across all titles. Certain games such as Gears of War, Halo Wars 2, such games like that will improve. They'll have free updates to improve for the Xbox One X and Ghost Recon Wildlands and such. And also, if you don't have an Xbox One X, the new games, they will use super sampling. So on your old Xbox One S, I don't know if it's on the original, but definitely on the S, it does super sampling, so the games will look better. It's a way of making them look better, and they will all be free updates. And they're also bringing original Xbox games back. That's going to be in the backwards compatible. That is something very surprising. I didn't think they'd go to the original Xbox, but hey ho, it's something that I think everyone would like to see, as there is a lot of classic games that a lot of people really like. So we're going to get into this. And we're going to start with the obvious game that was always going to be shown. Everyone knows it was going to be shown, and this is Forza Motorsport 7. I'm a fan of the Forza series, much so. I much prefer the Horizon series. I can play it for a lot longer than the Motorsport series. After a while, the Motorsport tends to get in not my nerves, but just it gets a bit boring for me. I prefer the open world of the Horizon games. But the game itself looks absolutely astonishing in 4K on the new Xbox One X. They even revealed a new car with it. It was a Porsche 911 GTR2, I believe it is. Please correct me if I am wrong. But they announced the car. No one had ever seen this car before. It had been locked up in Porsche, wherever the Porsche place is. And they revealed the car for the first time. Then revealed it in-game. And they showed a multitude of gameplay with it. And some just gameplay of cars in general, all driving. I believe that trailer came on before everything, and it started to show them in trucks and Formula 1 cars and normal cars and muscle cars. Oh god, muscle cars. The game is going to be running at a solid 60 FPS, and that is at native 4K. That's native 4K resolution. But I think it is also going to be play anywhere, so you can play it on your PC. Forza will be hitting stores and retailers and online October 3rd, so definitely look out for that. The gameplay it just looks like it normally does on Forza. It just looks absolutely amazing. The cars look astonishing. There's some more weather effects. The damage looks a bit better. All the cars look great anyway. There's more drivers. I believe there's now female drivers. I don't think there's been female drivers in any other Forza yet. I could be wrong though. And I think that's it for Forza. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably it for Forza. Because I want to get on to the next game. And the reason I want to get onto this game is because this one was... Before I get into it, this is Metro Exodus. For anyone that knows me enough, I've mentioned in a few videos before how much I love the Metro series, and I've recently just got back into the Redux versions of both. Completed 2033, I'm back on Last Light, I'm halfway through. And the great thing about Metro is the way they do things. The way the gas mask works, the way you have to use electricity to pump your light on, the way that bullets are not just bullets, they're also your currency, so you have to conserve. It just works so well, and the first two games were great, and they were very linear, and it's looking like Exodus might be open world, which, if not fully open world, even a slight bit, which I would absolutely love. The game itself, and the reason I wanted to get into this is when me and my mate were watching it, I saw the sort of mutated beasts dead in the snow, and my mate was like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." I'm like, "This is Metro. I know what that thing is." And it shows the gas mask, and it shows a Russian quote straight away. That's it, it's Metro. And he was like, "Nah." Got to the end of the trailer, Metro Exodus. Some great gameplay. It looks smooth. They had the soundtrack they had on that, I'm 100% sure was the soundtrack that it's like a remixed soundtrack of the one from 28 Weeks Later, when is it Rom is running away from all the zombies in the farmyard. I'm pretty sure it's a very similar version, if not a remixed version of that, but it works so well. Obviously it starts off with the guy getting chased, which I'm going to gather is still Artyom if you got the good ending in the last one, I'm pretty sure. So that'd be interesting if it is him. There's a beast chasing you. It sort of lets you roam around a bit. There's a big ass grizzly bear who's pissed. There's what else is there? There's the zip line. There's the train. I mean, sorry, excuse me. It shows a lot off, and I think that's a good thing. But it doesn't give away story too much, so that's also an interesting thing, because it leaves it open to make a really good story trailer. I'm really looking forward to that, and I will be getting that on the Xbox One X when it releases. Should we go on to the next game? let's have. Oh, okay. We'll go into the next one. I am wearing an Assassin's Creed shirt with one of my favorite assassins on, Connor. Assassin's Creed Origins got a gameplay trailer there. Of course they did. I don't know what to think. And I might get bad comments on that. I might get good comments, but I'm not sure what to think. Personally, I love the idea of Egypt, but I don't like the idea of Assassin's Creed in Egypt. I didn't think the game looked much different, and I know they don't really ever look that much different in general, but I didn't think the game, for me, just like Syndicate didn't after playing it for a bit, it just didn't hold me like the originals did. I mean, the last really good ones for me were probably 3 and 4. I was never a massive fan of the Ezio timeline. I know everyone really liked that, but I was never a massive fan. I played them, but I never a massive fan of them. Edward Kenway and Connor were by far my favourite of the assassins, so 3 and 4 were my favourite. And I don't know, after seeing the gameplay, I didn't really see too much different. It didn't really hold my attention. The game itself, I didn't like the looks of the character, and that's nothing against what, Egyptians or anything like that. It's just the character, I don't know, it just didn't hold that attention for me like the others did. Maybe I've just got to get a right armour. Maybe there's some cool Egyptian armour you can get that makes him look a bit cooler, but the armour he had there just did not hold me. Gameplay looked the same. Obviously, he goes into a mission to chase down this guy that I don't even know if he's a Templar. I'm not sure. But then they showed off gameplay, and the gameplay, they showed off a bit more of him like climbing the pyramids, being able to jump and use your arrow, being able to fire like multiple arrows from this bow and arrow, controlling the arrow mid-air. That's really weird. It's got me into this whole concept of, is he a demigod? Because there is one where he's versing a basilisk type creature, a massive Egyptian snake, which obviously don't exist, but is it supposed to be some sort of god, as this is supposed to be the origins of assassins? So is this, you're going to be playing some sort of like demigod who's an assassin? If that is that'd be pretty cool if that's the idea behind it, and I'd really like that. Obviously you had the Eden and the apple and stuff in the other games, and it was all end up being related to gods. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry, but most people have played them now. All end up being that sort of god type thing. So it'd be interesting to see how they work that into it. I don't think there's any multiplayer, I don't think there's any co-op. I think it's just bog standard Assassin's Creed. There's boats, there's camels, hidden blades, some weird staff type thing, your bow. I mean, I'll get the game because it's Assassin's Creed. I get everyone no matter what to play them, and I'm hoping it holds. I'm hoping it surprises me when it releases, and I'm hoping it holds my attention. I really do, because I want to like the game. That's the thing. I really do. It does release October 17th, and again, these games will be updated when the Xbox One X releases on November 7th. So I might even get it and not touch it until the Xbox One X comes out. I know it sounds a bit weird, but I'm thinking a few people might think the same thing. What game are we going to go on today? This was a really interesting one, actually, what we're going to go on to now. This is Deep Rock. Is it Deep Rock Galactic? Yeah, Deep Rock Galactic. So it was sort of, when I first saw it, I thought it was like Astroneers or whatever that game is. I thought it was something similar to that with Minecraft. It's like these dwarfs, sort of like a polygonal, low polygon, pixelated characters and environment, and it's indestructible. You can, not indestructible, destructible. You can dig your holes, obviously dwarves. Dig your holes, make your paths. You got to fight like swarms of aliens. So it's sort of like an alien swarm meets Minecraft meets I'm pretty sure it's Astroneers, but I could be getting that name totally wrong. But it shows you I'm going through the caverns, cutting up like tunnels. 4 people. So what I'm assuming is just 4-player co-op. And they start fighting all these like spidery swarm things, using actual guns as well. So hopefully, I mean, when me and my mate were watching it, I actually said this actually doesn't look half bad. It might be a fun game to record and a fun game to play. So we're hoping we see some more development on this, some more trailers, and I'm definitely interested in this title. One of the biggest ones is a exclusive, but it's actually a launch exclusive. It didn't really explain this when they brought it out, and that is PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. For people that don't know, I do play this on PC with my friend. We actually have been on about probably recording it for a while now. We might get up to it. We won our first game full on yesterday. They announced it's exclusive. Obviously, it's only a timed exclusive, but it's still a really big game to come to that console first. It's a really big selling point. And they showed off some. It's going to be fully updated, I think they said, when it releases. It's got the map looks. They've got new areas on the map. For anyone that knows the normal map, there seems to be a few new areas they show off, like some like power stations, some new buildings inside, like a hospital and all this type of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how much they do. It will be a console launch exclusive, so it will come out, and it'll arrive in late 2017. So it'll either come out straight away, or it'll come out just a bit later, and then I assume PlayStation will get it later, as PC already have that game. But it will definitely be a better one. They've got some more guns. The graphics look a bit more tuned. Gameplay looks smooth. So we've been promised a smooth, fun experience. And for anyone that doesn't know, sorry if I'm speaking too fast. For anyone that doesn't know, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is a survival, sort of like a Hunger Games type style game. And you can go in on your own against 100 people. I always play my mate, so it's teams of two. Obviously 100 people, but teams of two. And you jump out of a plane and you've got to find weapons and stuff and survive as the map shrinks. Well, this bubble goes around and it shrinks you, and you have to basically keep fighting until whoever's the last one left. But definitely a very good game to come to the console. State of Decay 2. So State of Decay 2 was shown, and I wasn't blown away, but I wasn't blown under. Like, I wasn't disappointed. It looks just like State of Decay 1. I knew it was that from the running of the characters. That really caught my attention. Like, the moment I saw that, I was like, this is State of Decay. Graphics, they look a bit more tuned, but they still look sort of the same. Gameplay, though, it is going to be 2-player co-op, 4-player co-op, something like that, as well as being single player. Oh, excuse me. And from that, we know what are we on about? State of Decay 2. Sorry, my mind plays tricks on me. So it's going to have 4-player co-op, and it shows some really interesting gameplay. Some of the infected that we know from the first game, anyone that played it, are still in it, like the Screamer, the Crawler, the really fat ones, the bulldozery ones. The map's apparently 10 times the size of the original game, which is interesting. The driving is no longer frame rate buggy, thank God. That was the only problem that really annoyed me about the first game, is that after a certain speed you hit with your car or anything like that, it would be really buggy. So the fact that it's not buggy now is a great idea. This game is going to be, I believe, is it an exclusive? I'm not sure. But it's like, it didn't really indicate that it was going to be much different from the first one. Apart from it's a bit better looking and is a hell of a lot bigger. So hopefully they can show us more gameplay off shortly, or sometime within the coming months, because I really, really am looking forward to this title. And it is coming, I believe, spring 2018 it says. So, you know, hopefully they don't need to tweak too much, but as long as it plays like the first game and it's just a bit more improved, that's a sold for me, because I absolutely love the first game. And I go back to it every now and again to play the breakout mode, I believe it is, where you can do that. Obviously Minecraft. We're going to have to mention Minecraft because it was there, and I know a lot of people were like, why did they mention it? But it's now going to be fully compatible between all platforms. They didn't announce certain consoles for obvious reasons, but I'm going to gather PC, Xbox One. They mentioned VR, mobile, PlayStation. They didn't mention PlayStation 4, but I assume PlayStation 4, maybe, and the Nintendo. This is a big step for Minecraft, really, because Minecraft's one of those games that doesn't really need to not have bone. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter having the fact that oh, you're on PlayStation, you're on Xbox, I'm on Nintendo. It's stuff like that. It's like, but it plays the same, so it's not one of those games that can look too much better on another console. So apart from like PC when you put your mods on, so I think it's one of those games that really needed that whole multi-platform style approach to it. They also announced that there's going to be now you can do custom texture packs for the consoles, custom servers, bigger worlds, because Xboxes weren't endless. I believe they might be going endless, but don't count me on that. That's what I took away from it. There'll also be a 4K of the version of the game for the Xbox One X, which apparently it blew Phil Spencer away, so I'm interested in seeing what that looks like. And there is super duper graphics mode, which really does improve the graphics. Very similar to some of the mods I have on my Minecraft on my PC that just make the water look real, the grass flow in the wind, the sun brighter, you know, all that type of stuff. So really looking forward to Minecraft again. I always do. I love playing Minecraft. I know it's one of those things that's like it's for kids, but I absolutely love playing Minecraft. I could sit on there and build for hours. I mean, oh, sorry. Even that Lego Worlds, I've been playing that recently and just been able to build on it. It's just been, I can play it for absolute hours, and Minecraft's just one of those ones that I love, just going away and seeing what I can build. What have we got on our next part of our agenda? We have, I'm going to have to put this one just because I really like the Dragon Ball franchise, but they announced Dragon Ball FighterZ Z. I don't know how long, I'm pretty sure this has been out in Japan, I could be wrong. But this is a new Dragon Ball game, and it is not the normal Xenoverse, you know, it's not the normal 3D style Dragon Ball. The only 3D elements is when you're doing your ultimates from the looks of it. The game itself is going to play like an old 2D with a 3D sort of style, sort of like Street Fighter or BlazBlue, something like that. They showed off, if I remember rightly, Goku, young Gohan, well, teen Gohan. Who else did they show? Cell, Majin Buu, Fat Majin Buu, Vegeta. I don't think they showed anyone else off. I think that's all they showed off, but I assume it's going to have everyone in. Phil Spencer said this is one that he went in and he absolutely loved it. So that's a great thing that I didn't realise would actually enjoy a game such as that. The gameplay looks quite smooth. The ultimates look good. 3v3 you can get up to. I don't know how it's going to work. I assume that it's going to be like one's in the foreground, one's in the background, one's in the middle ground. Something similar to that maybe. The game itself just looked really fun. I like fighters. I love Dragon Ball. I like 2D fighters. I like 2D/3D fighters. So this is a perfect game. I don't think it had a release date. If it did, I can't remember what it was. But hopefully it's not too long, because I am definitely intrigued by the idea of a Dragon Ball franchise, such as not a Dragon Ball franchise, another Dragon Ball game that's a bit different to how Xenoverse did it, because I do love the Xenoverse games, but it'd be nice to get a different touch on the Dragon Ball franchising games. That's where I was going with franchise. I'm trying to think what games to, because there's multiples I could say. Should we say the Darwin Project? Yeah, we'll go with the Darwin Project. I don't really, myself, I didn't know what the Darwin Project was. Then they released, obviously, the trailer came on the screen, and it shows you sort of this guy in this forest, and I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. Very stylized graphical style. And he thought he looked like a sort of prisoner type style. And he pulls like, I'm pretty sure it's an axe. Oh, excuse me. He hears a noise and like his booby trap's gone off. And then he's got an axe and there's obviously like a dead body. And it turns out, because this is where I thought it was weird, someone shoots an arrow at him and I thought, oh, that's it, he's dead. But it bounces off like he's got a shield type thing. It's like, whoa, this is weird. What is this? And then the bear trap, there's a girl in it and she's invisible. I'm like, oh, this is more futuristic than I thought this was going to be. And I believe this is also the one where, yes, it is. It switches to the gameplay of the girl, and then a commentator comes out and he's screaming away saying what she's doing, and she's fighting someone. And I don't know what type of game style it is. but the way they were playing it looked like sort of team death. Oh god, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. So yeah, it sort of just shows her fighting, and she's got some sort of bow and arrow, and she gets a shield because someone, I believe on Mixer, had sent her a shield. So it's like sort of like people that are watching can send you stuff to help. I believe that's how it went. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked really cool. Graphical style was great, and that's always what you want. The map looks good. The characters look really good, especially the girl that they end up playing as looked really fun. Walking looked a bit weird. It's like straight, but not straight, if you get what I mean. But I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that it becomes a survival, like a survival skirmish sort of game. So I'm intrigued more than anything to see what that holds for the rest of us. We're not going to go for everything, but I'm just going to mention a few games. Like Black Desert Online is going to be coming onto the Xbox One, which is a very good MMO on the PC. The Last Night looks really good. That's going to be a pixelated 2D platformer style game, and that looks really, really fun. Again, some of these games we'll just have in the background right now as I'm talking. You might not see long clips, but you'll just get a little taste. We got The Artful Escape, which looked like you had to be on every drug possible to understand, and that's not easy to do. Code Vein, that's supposed to be an anime-style Dark Souls game. That looked very interesting, actually. I'm very intrigued to see how that game goes, because I might invest. Tacoma looked like a very good spacey sort of game, puzzly. I think it's going to be a puzzle game. Not actually sure, but it'd be interesting if it is. We're going to have to say this now. Cuphead. Cuphead had a trailer, and I'm really looking forward to Cuphead. Cuphead was one of those ones where it's sort of like an old Mickey Animaniacs sort of style, with the bosses and everything that was basically just there. The bosses, the level design, just certain characters, the backgrounds, it was all that sort of style, and I think that game is going to sell really well. It seems to have taken a really good approach with anyone that has seen it. Even for people that don't want an Xbox, they've seen it and they go, ooh, oh, well, that looks decent. Again, we've not gone into everything, and I think we're reaching about nearly half an hour now. Is there anything I really want to speak about? Because there is one game I really want to speak about, and that's Anthem by BioWare. That's going to probably be the longest talk. It's not going to be massive, but it'll be the longest. They showed off, obviously, the ID Xbox. They showed off lots and lots of indie games, which is really, really good. The fact that they are going to, they are acknowledging the indie community. What else did they show off? Obviously, Halo wasn't shown. No Call of Duty. I assume that might be shown in the PlayStation one, maybe? Maybe. Is there anything else that was introduced? Nothing major, I don't think. I could be missing. Oh, of course. Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 was shown, and it had the amazingly talented, funny actor Terry Crews just shouting and shooting, and it looks amazing. I mean, I love Crackdown 1. I think Crackdown 2 is my absolute favourite. I'd love going back to that and like role playing while playing and just playing it. I know it's a bit stupid, but it's a fun one to do that on. I love the transforming vehicles. One, which are back. Same as your character, as you level up, gets bigger. That was obviously in both 1 and 2. The gameplay trailer, a lot of people moaned afterwards, and they had to sort of complain, saying there's not much destruction in the game, what's going on? And they had to fight back and say, there is destruction, we are sorry, we just didn't have much in that trailer, but don't worry, we will have a trailer soon, sort of thing, to show you it. So I feel bad for them they had to do that, because at the end of the day, the trailer was the trailer. They showed shitloads of explosions, and it looked a hell of a lot of fun. So I have no problem with that game in any way possible. I think the game looks astonishing, and I can't wait to drive a vehicle from one side of a building to another side of the building and back again. Maybe up as well, that'd be pretty cool. And finally, but not least, Anthem is the new game by BioWare. running on the Frostbite engine, and by God does it look astonishingly amazing. It's the faces of the characters look so well done. They move like a normal person. They're smooth. The textures are really nice. The idea and the concept of the characters and the environment and the animals and the robotic creatures is all amazing. And the game runs, it's going to be sort of an MMO from the looks of it. It looks like you can have a group up to 4 people. And the people are going to be basically your weapon of choice is your javelin, which is your sort of Iron Man suits, as I would put them. And you've got different styles. They've got a heavy, there's a soldier sort of basic one. And then there's 2 others they've not really announced, but I'm going to imagine like a light one and then a sniper who's stealthy sort of thing. But you can get different javelins, customize them to your standards, so that it makes them yours. And they show some really nice gameplay off. The environment looks great. Flying in the javelin suit looks like Iron Man. I basically was like out of my seat crying like a little girl when I figured out I could fly like that. Although I myself would wear the heavy, because that's just the way I play games. I love playing as heavy characters. Probably because myself I'm not massively heavy anyway, so I'm not even heavy anyway, so. And they show off gameplay, and they show off some fighting. Particle effects on the shotgun style gun are lovely. The special abilities all look good. The big guy, who I believe is Paul, because obviously they do it like the old Division games. They sort of show it off like multiplayer, so they have 2 people talking to each other. And Paul's like, I'm going to use my mortar. And on his back he has a little mortar, and he goes, and then it fires. And then the woman, she uses it's sort of like a Predator cannon, and it like aims, and then it just fires like a mortar of grenades after you've locked on to a certain amount of enemies. And the explosions look nice, and they end it going towards a storm of sorts, and then they're like, should we fly into it? And this is, they grouped up in 4s now. Like, yeah, let's fly for it. And then they fly in, and the game goes out, and it says Anthem. I'm not sure release date. I don't think they've gave it one, but I'm hoping it's closest to the Xbox One release date. But I personally think it'll be sometime in 2018. I'm not actually sure. I hope that comes out soon. I really do. When the Xbox One X comes out anyway. Oh boy. Well, that was a sort of quick review style. I know it's quite fast. If there's anything you need to ask me that you don't know and I might possibly know, please comment down in the description below. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation as much as I did. I honestly can't go on about how much I love this presentation. I have my PC, I have a PS4 for exclusives, but in the heart, my Xbox is by far the best for me, and that's just my own personal opinion. I don't hate on people that prefer other consoles. I don't hate on people that don't like the Xbox One. I just say to people, just give it a try. It's a personal preference. If you don't like it, you don't. If you do, good. I just think I just love the controller. I love the console. I love the community. It's got an outstanding community, and I just love everything about the Xbox. So please join me in the comments, and actually in the comments write down what team you are on. Team Xbox, Team PlayStation, Team PC, or Team Nintendo. And I'd like to do that just to see what team you're part of. Like, it'd be nice to see how many people are Xbox, but no comments bad against each other, guys, because comments are bad, and both consoles are good. You can't announce one saying, oh, this is shit and that's shit. They're all good in their own right. Just I myself prefer the Xbox One, and I'm going to prefer the Xbox One X on November 7th. That's been the Xbox One review, and I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I shall see you again for the next one.